that time. It's good to see you tonight. Hope you've had a good week. It's been a beautiful day, hasn't it? Glad you made it safely. Good to be back with you. Missed you while we were gone. Appreciate the work done while we were away. Had a good visit with my sister in the Atlanta area. Appreciate the teaching of the classes. Charles taught Sunday, right? Who taught Wednesday? How'd that go? Good. Appreciate you doing that. Proverbs number 7 tonight, right? Lesson number 19. What's 1 week from Sunday? Our meeting, have you thought about that? Fast approaching, isn't it? Have you seen the announcement that was prepared for our meeting? There's one on the bulletin board and one posted on both sides of the door, so you can see it coming and going. And these are ready to be mailed, need to be put in the mail tonight so they can have them Sunday to area churches. Who'd like to take these and see that they get in the post office tonight? Keith, you want to do that? You are, aren't you? Appreciate you doing that. Yeah, they'll have those by Sunday. We've got some extras. What would be good to do with it? What could you do with one of these? Okay. What else? Put on the what? Your car? You want one for that? How many neighbors you have? One on both sides and behind and in front, at least. What else could you do with these? They have bulletin boards over there? You could post some there? How many do you think? 3 or 4? What else could you do with one of these? Okay. Somebody you want to hit some eating places? What else could you do with one of these? I'll let you handle that. What else could you do with these? What'd you say? Put them where? There you go. There you go. Yeah. Lots of things that could be done with these. We'll put these at the door, these extras. And then this mail piece, the mailer, they came in the mail. Several boxes of them. We've got about 5,000 of these that'll be mailed, Lord willing, to every resident within a 1.5 mile radius. And what we do, the post office, we had to be laid out a certain way for the post office. It's got a return address. It goes to local postal customer. And it's got a little, that's called a permanent imprint. This endorsement's what they wanted us to have on it. But on one side, it's just simple, you're invited. And on the back, hear Bible lessons, the date, time, location. Get Back to the Bible as a website. Real simple. But everybody will get one. About nearly 5,000 addresses. And you have to bundle these by groups of 50 with rubber bands and put them in trays. And they go, what they do is they give them, we do the work for them basically. That's why we get the reduced rate. And they send these out on a route. We put them in a tray, all bundled, groups of 50. And so the mail carrier takes those with them, takes that tray. And every post office box or every mailbox on their route, they slip one of those in there. Nearly 5,000 of them. You just draw a circle around this. It's a mile and a half. And the cost of printing this, the cost of this and postage comes to about 29 cents each. What's the cost of a first class stamp? 49, 20, that's a pretty good rate, isn't it? You can't hardly beat that. And so we got some extras though. Yeah, okay. Some of them go to Riley, and some of them will go over here to the other post office, Rose Post Office. Well, they have to be. Yeah. We don't get mail delivered. This is a mile and a half, so whatever that entails. Yeah. You want to take some of them? There'll be some you can pick up on your way out, and that'd be good. You could do that. What else could we do with these that are extra beyond what's being sent out? Yeah. Instead of local poster customer, you could put a little, what do they call those? Label. Put a label over it, put an address, stick a stamp on it. Or it may be it'll be more than probably, because it's oversized. See, this is 6.5 by 9, something like that, 6.25 by 9. So I'm not sure if a first class stamp will catch it. You might have to ask them if you mail it. Yeah, if you want to mail something, you might get one of these others and put it in an envelope. Put your information on it and send it. These would be good to hand out to people, wouldn't they? Maybe, who could you give one of these to? Your professor? Your boss? Your fellow workers, your fellow students, your neighbors? Anybody and everybody. If you want to grab some of these, they'll be at the door as you leave. Get the word out, the message out. Be an ad in the newspaper as well. A banner at the road. Try to exhaust every possibility of getting people the message. It's on the website. So I wanted you to think about that a little bit. What could I do with one of those? Lots of things that can be done. Proverbs 26. As snow in summer. Does that feel good about now? And as rain in harvest. So honor is not seemly for a fool. Kind of out of place, isn't it? You wouldn't expect snowfall in the summer months, would you? Can you imagine going out today and white stuff falling from the sky? Be like a fool being honored. What's this chapter say about answering a fool, by the way? It says a couple of things about it, doesn't it? Richard, what did it say? Okay. 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 So how do you answer a fool? Okay. What did you learn about the legs of the lame? What does that mean? The legs of the lame are not equal. Does it mean one leg is longer than the other? The legs of the lame are not equal. What? Okay. The legs of the lame are not equal. That's a good little statement to remember. Maybe you're talking with somebody or you're answering an error that you got somebody that's inconsistent. You might think about it. The legs of the lame are not equal. Who formed all things? The great God. 26:10. The great God that formed all things, both rewardeth the fool and rewardeth the transgressors. The great God that formed all things. In 6 days, he made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, Moses said in Exodus 20. You can read all about that in Genesis 1 and 2. Formed all things. Do you know all things are God formed? We need to appreciate that, don't we? A lot of people don't know that. They've not been taught that. They think it all happened by what? What? Explosion? Here we are. Millions and millions and billions and billions years later. When you open or close a door and it turns on its hinges, what do you think of? Anything in particular? Squeaking? Need some WD-40? Do you think about something else in light of Proverbs? The slothful is represented as a door turns on its hinges. What's he do? Toss and turn. Where'd you find that, by the way? 14, right. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. He has much to say about the slothful, doesn't he? Did you talk about the field of the slothful? Remember how that was described? You can learn a lot by taking a little field trip, can't you? Solomon learned about industry versus slothfulness, laziness. You know, it says something about a person, about how you keep your place, doesn't it? Somebody might look at a field and think, they must be what? Slothful. Look at how it's all grown up. What else? How was that field described? What's nettles? Yeah. Don't take long for that to happen, does it? Yeah. I don't think anybody could pass by this meeting place and think the folks that meet here are slothful. Do you? All the work that you've been doing. You know, there are some places, though, you wonder if anybody cares. You may drive by what the condition of the meeting place. It's unkept and grown up and chipping away and mold and what's that green stuff grows on the what side of the building? North side, all covered over. Yeah. Yeah. It was lazy, wasn't it? Yeah. So if we have trouble with that, take the door off the hinges, right? Get out of bed. Think about that, and you're turning in the bed. You might think about that passage, right? And in contrast, the sleep of a laboring man is what? Sweet. Remember that statement? Sweet. You ever take a dog by the ears? Where's that dog? There's somebody You have a dog? Who has a dog? You have a dog? Your neighbor have a dog? In the fence next door? Would you go over there and grab him by the ears? That pit bull? You asking for what? Yeah. I wouldn't advise anybody just take a dog by the ears. What he liken that to? Meddling. Yeah. Just if the dog's asleep, let it sleep. Let it lay. Yeah. And maybe some good advice to remember from verse 17, 26:17. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife, belonging not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. You know, sometimes there's some strife, and fella or lady might think, I need to, it's like a magnet. They're drawn to it. Get right in the middle of that thing. Doesn't even involve them. Doesn't concern them. But they make it their business. They meddle with that. They get involved, and you know what you're doing? You're taking a dog by the ears. That might make a good lesson. Taking a dog by the ears. And talk about strife and meddling with it. Who would think about taking a dog by the ears? That's what you're doing when you get involved with strife. Just point out some things the Bible says about strife. The servant of the Lord must not what? Strive. Remember that. And he's going to say more about strife in this book. Where there is no talebearer, what happens? The strife ceases. Yeah. Talebearing and strife kind of go together. They're bosom buddies, aren't they? You show me where strife is, and I'll show you a talebearer. Where there's a talebearer. Just bearing tales. Maybe or may not be true. Right? You don't have to tell something that's not true to be guilty of talebearing. It might be true. But I believe I remember back in the book of Leviticus is written about, thou shalt not go up and down among thy people as a talebearer. Talebearer, idle gossip. That's important. And there are different avenues and channels of doing that today that did not exist a few years ago. Talebearing. It's not that you necessarily talk to your neighbor across the fence over it. You might what? Text it. Somebody say text it. What else? Facebook it. You think there's any talebearing goes on Facebook? A lot of it, huh? What? A lot of stuff going on. Yeah. Lots of ways of doing that. We don't need to get involved in that. Strife is kindled by that, isn't it? You know, a good way to stop strife is stop talebearing. How do you think would be a good way to put an end to talebearing? How many people does it take for that to happen, Becky? 2 people. So what's a talebearer need? Somebody listen. If I had a problem with that, what would you recommend to me? Don't listen to it. Suppose somebody gets ready to say something that might be talebearing. What should I do? How would you handle that? Becky, just put my hand on my ears? Don't tell me. You're not getting ready to talebear, are you? What might they say? What might they do? They might not say anything then, right? That might be a way to put a stop to some of that. What do you think? Takes 2 to tangle. Who said it? Is it? Who said it? Who said it? Is it true? Is it? What are some questions I might ask before I say something? Is it true? Is it what? Or somebody else? Okay, it's a good question. What else? Is it honest? Just? Do I need to know? Does this person need to know? Yeah. Yeah. Does it edify? Let your speech be all with grace, season of soul. Remember that? Yeah. Just because it's true, it don't need to be told necessarily, does it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And maybe they don't even know. Everybody else knows, and I don't even know, and I'm the one that needs to know. Yeah. Don't tell him. Don't tell. Then what are you doing? Yeah. Let's go talk to him about it. Let's just talk. That might be a good way to do that. Let's just get this taken care of. We'll go. What else? Does it, is it necessary? You think most of the things people say are necessary or unnecessary? I think about that. What about the contentious man? Did you learn anything about the contentious man? By the way, did you know that there is a man that is referred to in the book of Proverbs as a contentious man? What do you think caused him to be called that? What would he do that would cause him to be called contentious? Causing problems? Okay. How does he do that, you think? Okay. So he goes out in the shed and gets some diesel and what? Huh? Okay. Okay. What'd you say, Garrett? Kindling strife? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did Paul talk about a contentious man when he wrote the Corinthians? Does that ring a bell? He talked about the covering, the woman's being covered. He said, if any man be contentious, remember that? We have no such custom, neither the churches of God. Some may be contentious over customs like that, right? Or maybe matters that are indifferent to God, matters of judgment, authorized liberty, right? There's a realm of individual determination where everybody is to be fully persuaded in his own mind. That's like when it came to Romans 14, eating meat. Did it make any difference to God whether he ate meat or not? It didn't make any difference. But it did with some of those people. It made a difference. What they're trying to do is bind their personal conscience on somebody else. And you can't do that without stirring up strife. Right. The faith, but one's personal faith or conscience. And that's how that word faith is used in that chapter. We said whatsoever is not of faith is sin. That's not the gospel. He's talking about personal faith, your conscience. If you're to do something and it violates your conscience, when it's neither right nor wrong in and of itself. Some people are contentious about things like that. And there's no need for there to be strife and division and disruption and disturbance over those kind of things. You know, people have consciences about different things. Some may have a conscience about, well, give me an example. Something. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. What about when it comes to what you do around the holidays? You know, there are different thinkings on that. Some think you can't do anything at all. It's a sin to put lights up or send cards or, well, no need for division over that, right? There are different things like that that come up. Playing cards. If that bothers you, play dominoes. But there are those who would not play cards because they associate that with what? Gambling. Can you play cards without gambling? I believe so, but there are those who don't think so. And when they come over and it comes time, we want to maybe have a little fun, we're going to put the cards out in front, make them play cards, right? No, we're not going to do that. It'd be wrong for them to try to tell me I can't play cards. And it'd be wrong for me to try to tell them they have to play cards, right? There are lots of things like that. Yeah. Absolutely. And because of people being contentious. It is a, and that's your, everybody has the right to, you know, we one time we were going out to eat at a restaurant. We had a couple with us. We were driving. And we turned into a restaurant, and they said we can't eat here because they sell alcohol. They serve alcohol. And we said, well, where would you recommend we go? And so they recommended another place, and we went over there. Yet they would go to a pharmacy and buy their pharmaceuticals at a place that would sell it, or get their groceries at a grocery store that sold it. And I think you could go to personally, a restaurant and eat. They may sell alcohol. That doesn't mean I'm drinking or I have to buy it. I might drink water, right? But people have to sort those things out in their own mind. And if it disturbs you, if it bothers you, you can't do that. Then don't go. Go somewhere else. You know, I'm not going to shop at a place or buy my gas at a place that sells lottery tickets. Somebody said, where are you going to fill up? Yeah, see, most people in those cases aren't consistent. I probably aren't. I'm probably not consistent. It's hard to be consistent, isn't it? Try to be, but sometimes we're not always consistent, and sometimes we we see that with issues like that, where somebody gets on the bandwagon or something, and they won't do that, but yet they'll do other things, which don't make sense. Kind of like the Amish. Can't have a phone in the house, but have a phone booth. You know, but they have the right to their thinkings along those things. Anyway, a lot of churches have been disturbed and divided. Are you aware of that? There are people that have been friendly, and now they won't hardly talk to each other. Won't announce each other's meetings because of things like that. And they're things that don't really amount to a hill of beans. And lots of things. Whether a fella could serve in the military, be a police officer, carry a handgun, concealed carry. People, we need to respect each other's thinkings along those lines. It says, not for you to serve in the military, don't serve. But you can't tell a fella he can't. And you can't tell a fella he has to. Right? As coals are to burning coals and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle up strife. What did you find out about the words of a talebearer? What do they do? Where do they go? Down into the innermost parts of the belly. You ever have any belly wounds? Innermost parts of the belly? Like, what are some of those? Ulcers? Ulcerative colitis, or there's different conditions. Those things are hard to get rid of, aren't they? They're deep, penetrating. They're painful, aren't they? And that tells you something about the words of a talebearer. They inflict deep, penetrating wounds, and oftentimes those wounds are long in healing. Sometimes the fellow hardly ever gets over those things. They stay with you. Always trying to be treated, right? We learn that. We know that. That's a fact. Talk to a doctor. People deal with that. And I could be guilty of causing those kind of problems from a spiritual standpoint by what I say. That I'm inflicting wounds like that are deep and penetrating and long in healing, and maybe a fella, I never get over that. And so I need to think before I speak. Think about that. Ask those questions. Be slow to speak. Yeah, we've all done it, haven't we? You say something and you try to catch those words, but they're already gone. It's like that arrow. It's already shot. I can't bring it back, can I, Keith? It's already hit it wherever it's going. Do you have a comment? Yeah. It takes a long time, doesn't it? Trust is built little by little over time. And it doesn't take much for that to be completely destroyed, does it? Just by what we say, how we say it. So we have to be careful. I've got to work on that. How about you? What's something man does not know? We live in what age do we live in? The information age, right? I mean, man knows, it's unbelievable what man knows today. That was unthinkable only a few years ago. Right? But yet, man, regardless of how much he knows or may think he knows, there's some things that he'll never know. No matter how smart you become, you'll never know what today may bring forth. And it make a good lesson, by the way. So things man does not know. Our knowledge is limited. What's something else we don't know? Yeah, of that day and that hour knoweth no man. There's your 2 points already. We don't know what a day will bring forth. We have no idea, no way of knowing. What's some things that have happened recently? Yeah. Yeah, they didn't know that was going to happen, did they? Well, no. Yeah. Yeah. So any given day could be the last day. It could be all over. You thought about that? Circumstances are beyond our control oftentimes. It could be the last time that we see somebody. Yeah. They didn't know what that day held, that somebody's going to come in and take their lives, did they? No. Yeah. Texting, distracted. Yeah, that'd be it. Glad it wasn't. But we never know. And so, in light of that, when you think about that, how's it affect you? Kind of cherish the moment a little more. That's important. Try to enjoy each other a little more. No, not what should be on the morrow. There's another one. So go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will. For thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. What's better than secret love? Open rebuke. 27:5. What's a prudent man do? A prudent man. What's he do when he sees it? He foresees it. What's that tell you about him? He's vigilant, looking ahead. What'd you say, Becky? On the look. Yeah. Where'd you find that? 27:12, right? A prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Yeah. We've got to learn to kind of see where the road's going. If I continue down this road, where's it going to lead? And there may be warning signs along the way that we didn't pay attention to, we didn't see. We just pass on by. And here we get to the disaster. I didn't see that coming. Somebody said, I didn't see that coming. Have you heard that before? I didn't see that coming. Okay. Have some prudence about us to see where a thing leads, and as you see warning signs, to be alert to those. I didn't foresee it, did they? Didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. What two things are alike? A continual dripping in a very rainy day. Or you might think of a dripping faucet. Contentious woman. What's she doing? Okay. What's iron do with iron? Sharpens it. Iron sharpeneth iron. Can iron sharpen? So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. It shows the influence that your friend can have on you, can make you sharper. So associate yourself with iron. The eyes of man are never what? Satisfied. You find that to be true? Can you give me an example? Money, okay. How so? Okay. What else? What's another example? Becky? Okay. Never satisfied. Be diligent to know what? The state of your flocks and herds. 27, 23. It's a good example of vigilance, isn't it? Diligence, oversight. Do you know the state of your flocks? Your herds? Who is a wise son? 28:7. He's a law keeper, keeps the law, makes a good study, a wise son from the book of Proverbs. Who is a wise son? That'd be a good title for that, you think? Whose prayer is abomination? 28:9, isn't it? He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer should be abomination. That shows God doesn't respect everybody's prayer. If I turn my ear away from hearing the law, my prayer is an abomination. Who shall have mercy? (28:13). He that covereth his sin shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. It's a good principle to get a hold of. To confess and to forsake my sins so that I can find mercy. Who shall prolong his days? He that what? Hates covetousness. 28:16. The Bible has a lot to say about covetousness. We live in a world that's saturated with it, don't we? Greed, covetousness. Who shall not lack? That's a good principle, isn't it? To give to the poor. Remember the fellow that said all these things have I kept from my youth up? What was he lacking? The Lord said, go sell what you have and give it to. Give it to the poor. He didn't want to do that, did he? He went away sorrowful. He had great possessions. What does a fool utter? All his mind. I'll give you a piece of my mind, somebody said. But be careful of that, don't you? All his mind. It don't take him very long to do it either, does it? What's Proverbs 29 teach about child correction? Okay, gives wisdom. A lot of children are left to themselves today, aren't they? What do they call them? Latchkey kids, don't they? Latchkey kids. Yeah. Nobody to see them off the bus, onto the bus. They get up. You know, there may be a bus driver that would have to knock on the door and wake up a child and see that they get on the bus because nobody's there to do it, and they're not going to do it. He may even have to give them an alarm clock and show them how to use it so they can get up, get themselves off to school. And when he would take them to the house where they live to stay to make sure they are getting in the door because there's nobody there. And food that might be put by the school in the backpack because that's the only food they'd have. If they didn't have that, they'd go without. Left to themselves. Too much of that, isn't there? Correct thy son, he shall give thee what? Rest. Rest. He shall give delight unto thy soul. Need to know that. Need to appreciate that. Our society frowns upon that. They call that what? What do they call that? Child abuse. Do you know that? When we were in the pediatrician's office a day or two ago. Seems like just a day or two ago. They little pamphlets, didn't they? Little tracts about that. Put out by the American Pediatric Society that talked about that. And, you know, there are people that are looking for that kind of thing. And they turn you in and you risk losing your children because they think that's abuse. To correct your child. A principal one time said, though was unable to do it, the Lord knew what he was talking about when he put that in the book. What happens where there's no vision? People perish. Need to know that. Need vision. Need some goals, don't we? To look ahead. You have goals, personal goals? Maybe attendance goals and soul winning goals. I want to invite so many people to this gospel meeting. I want to bring so many people. Goals. Hospitality goals. I want to do this. Set some realistic goals. If you aim at nothing, you usually hit it, don't you? Take aim. What will a man's pride do? Bring him low. Got some on the back too, don't we? Every word of God is what? Pure. Pure. Who will be found a liar? Who is it? Did you know when you add to the word, you're a liar? Do you see some generations in Proverbs 30? Makes a good lesson. There's a generation. There are different generations. What will your generation be like? Eyes lifted up, pure in your own eyes, teeth as swords. Pretty sharp, aren't they? Curse father and mother. 4 little things he talked about. Make a good lesson, wouldn't it? I want to talk to you about 4 little things tonight that are exceeding wise. What are they? He's had a lot to say about this one. Ants, conies, locusts, spider. Take time to learn some good wisdom lessons from these little things, little creatures. We saw some ants the other day, didn't we? What are the qualities of the virtuous woman? Remember her? We could spend all night just talking about her, couldn't we? Did you notice her hands? They didn't do anything. Huh? You ought to circle her hands every time you see them. 7? What does it say about her? She's busy. She's industrious. She's not slothful. You go by her field, it's not going to look like that other fellas, is it? In fact, she considers a field and what? What do you think if you came home from work and your wife said, I want to take you over to this field? See that field? How'd you like to own that? Well, guess what? Okay. Now, don't get upset with me if your wife takes the checkbook and. A woman that feareth the Lord shall be what? Praised. Praised. Appreciate you being in our study. Any questions you have or comments you might like to make? Who's leading the singing? Jason is. Who's got the invitation? Andrew, very good. Heard that Nicholas preached his first full sermon last Sunday. We're glad you did that. Appreciate you doing that. Really excited about our young people. Good examples. Appreciate you so much. We love you and care for you and thankful. Thank God for you. Remember these announcements up here. Who would like to be at the door with these? It's for somebody to pick up what they want to. One of you young guys want to do that? You'll do that? No, just after that's over. After the closing prayer, if you want to be back at the back. Who'd like to hold this box back there? So Jerry can do that. All right. Pick these up. And somebody has our meeting announcements going out in the mail. Who's that? You going to drop those off tonight? Appreciate you doing that. Excited about our meeting, aren't you? Looking forward to it, Lord willing. Anything else from the Proverbs?